I'll be honest with you, I was not looking forward to that game on Monday night, and that's from a West Ham fan's perspective, not from a Geo's perspective. I thought there was only two possible outcomes. Now, obviously, there's three. We either win, draw, or lose. But when you look at the bigger picture at West Ham at the moment, when you take into consideration Lopetegui, player performances, recent results, the entire season, when you take all those factors into consideration, I thought there was two possible outcomes. Option A, we play poorly and we deservedly get beaten, and that's what I was expecting to occur. Or option B, we play slightly less poorly and we pick something up. But I felt like the end result was going to be the same. Whether we won or lost or drew, it would just be that feeling of the can getting kicked down the road a little bit. Because that's what I had against Wolves last week. We beat Wolves, and I was pleased we got 3 points. But I didn't really feel like we got 3 points. I didn't really have that feeling of victory that I usually get. And I was a little bit confused and concerned because it's not a nice feeling to have either. So I thought that's how I was going to feel against Bournemouth, that it was just a case of maybe delaying the inevitable. However, I was pleasantly surprised for the first half. For the first 45 minutes, I liked what I seen against Bournemouth. It wasn't perfect, and there's still a lot of things to sort, but I liked it. Not so much the second half, but we're going to discuss all this. And I'm not saying Lopetegui's fixed it and brilliant, we're going to turn the corner. I don't know. But what I have got is a little bit of glimmer of hope now that we can go into the games against Brighton and Southampton and look to pick up points and look to build on the first 45 minutes that we've seen against Bournemouth. Now, that's going to be difficult for one reason in particular, which I will discuss if I recall. But that first half against Bournemouth, we've seen quite a lot under Lopetegui. Newcastle away, for example. It was a fairly balanced first 45 minutes at St James's Park. We were winning 1-0 at half-time. However, I felt like Newcastle had the better chances. We were just leading. Leicester City, we battered them in the first 45. But the problem was, Leicester City had the better chances, and they were winning. Bournemouth, I thought we were the better team. I thought we were keeping the ball really well. We were knocking the ball about really well. Obviously, Bowen hit the bar, and while Semenyo hit the post, it was Bournemouth that had the best chance with Utara. And we've seen this 45 minutes under Lopetegui quite a few times now, where it is at worst for West Ham an even 45, but we're conceding a lot of big chances. If you look at our best performances this season, even just in a 45-minute spell, don't look for one over 90 minutes, you won't find one, but look for the best 45 minutes and you look at those. They've all got big defensive errors. They've got big mistakes in there. And when I say defensive errors, it's not necessarily individual ones like what Mavropanos did to concede that free kick. But it's just basics as well. It's just shape. It's been vulnerable in the transition, which it's quite scary how bad we look when a team can counter-attack us as well. I thought Fabianski was man of the match on Monday night. I thought he was, I was going to say fabulous, but I feel it's a bit too easy to say. But he was fantastic. If he was to get his contract extended today, I wouldn't complain. And I think it would say goodbye to Areola in the summer. It would sort of make sense, though. Areola's worth a few bob on big wages, whereas Fabianski, would he accept second? Anyway, I'm going off a tangent here, I'm inside. Fabianski was fantastic. When your keeper's man of the match, it tells you something, doesn't it? Especially when you only get a draw. Beaten by a worldie of a free kick. But that defensive side of the game is something Lopetegui needs to sort pronto. And this is why, at the minute, I'm still not convinced Lopetegui's the right man for the job at West Ham. Okay? I'm not. A draw against Bournemouth and a win against Wolves hasn't changed my mind. I'm not even sure a win against Brighton and Southampton would do that. It would go towards changing my mind, because that's what you've got to do. You have to evaluate it over the bigger picture. If what we've seen in the last few weeks happened earlier on in the season, we were currently on match day 6, I'd be sitting here saying, do you know what? I quite like this. There's an obvious change in style. We're working things out. The defence will get better. Don't worry about it. But I can't say that because we're halfway through the season and, well, we've got 3 centre-backs and one of them We don't know if he's going to play for West Ham again, although he's going to cost us €40 million. But I don't know if he can fix the defence. That's why I can't sit here and say I think he'll turn it round, because my answer would be no, because I don't know if he can fix it, what we are doing at the back, because we've been doing it all season and we're still doing it now. So even in games we're doing well, we're still conceding the best chances of the game. And when you do that, you make it incredibly difficult to get anything from the match, never mind all 3 points. Saying that, Monday night, first 45, really good, moved the ball really well. A point at the end. It was obviously disappointing considering we took the lead quite close to the end, but it's a really good result. If you offered me a point on Monday morning, I'd have taken it like that. I think most teams would, and when I say most teams, I'm including those chasing Champions League football. A point away to Bournemouth, we'll be alright with that one. Assuming we beat them at our own place, I think most teams would be okay with a point there. So I was really pleased, really pleased. The issue, Carlos Soler. And when I say the issue, I don't mean he's a problem, get him out of the team. I mean he's suspended, he won't be in the team. And this is something that it's confusing me a little bit. Where's he been? Excuse me. Where's Carlos Soler been? Well, I'll tell you where he's been. Left wing. So he came in, and yes, he might not be match fit and stuff, but when we did play him, we were playing him out of position on the left, and now we brought him in to the central midfield position. I think he moves the ball really well. I think he holds the ball really well. We've not really had a player, in my opinion, that can dictate the tempo of a game since Mark Noble, and before that, Alex Song. I don't know if Carlos Soler can do it. I don't know. But I think we're going to need someone that can just get the foot on the ball, and he decides when we speed things up and slow things down. But he's definitely our best bet at West Ham, is just someone that can just help us retain possession. And I like him. When he first arrived, I didn't know what to expect. And then for the first couple of months, I thought, what's the point in this guy? We're going to play him left wing. What's the point? The last few games, though, he's impressed me and he continues to impress me. I like him. And he's going to be a big miss against Brighton. And this is where I get a little bit worried, because things that I have liked under Lopetegui in the last few games, a lot of it has come through having Carlos Soler in the team, playing central midfield. But we don't really have a replacement for him. Can Andy Irving do that role? I'd be shocked. So I feel like what's working for Lopetegui is possibly going to go out the window against Brighton at the weekend. So it's a little bit of a concern for myself in that regards. But that's where he's got to come up with the answers. It was promising, though. When the game finished on Monday night, I was okay with what I seen. By the way, I don't think it was a penalty, just for the sake of it, just for the video purposes. I don't think it was a penalty. I'd be disappointed if that was given against West Ham. I think his hand was in a natural position. And this is where I think sometimes there is some elements of the game you have to play at the top level in order to understand. Of course you do. But I think running, just natural body positions, I don't think you have to. It doesn't matter what level of the game you played at. I think most people would run the same way to some extent. And I think that's a natural position of his arm. And I think he's a little bit unlucky. Tyler Adams there. Not complaining. Fantastically dispatched penalty by Paqueta. Nice to see him embrace Lopetegui, because as much as I haven't been still, I'm that keen on Lopetegui as head coach, it doesn't mean I dislike him as a person or want to see him suffer. Like whenever there's a player at West Ham or a manager at West Ham that I'm not keen on, I think he's the wrong man, I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to do well for West Ham, because then West Ham will benefit. So I want Lopetegui to succeed. So seeing Paqueta going over and embrace him is quite nice, especially considering Lopetegui benched him a week before, which isn't something that's happened too often at West Ham. So that was there's a few positives to take from that one. It's not all positives, because not everybody hardly anyone had an amazing game for West Ham against Bournemouth. I think most players were okay, except Fabiusz Fabianski, of course. Anyway, Brighton at the weekend. I'm hoping I can do the match preview with Gonzo tomorrow. But before I disappear, just want to say thank you to everybody for the messages. And if you've ordered something from the shop and you live in the UK, You will get it before Christmas, I promise you. I'm working my best to get them all out of here. I've done most, so you should have an email with a tracking link. If you haven't got it, don't worry, you will get it tomorrow. Everything is sent tracked 48 through the Royal Mail, so 95% of parcels will arrive on Saturday, and if not, obviously Monday. And if you miss it Saturday, you got Monday and then you got Tuesday. I promise you, I'm really sorry for the delays. If it's an overseas parcel, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get to you on Christmas. If you want a refund, totally understand. Just email us and I'll give you a refund. It's my fault. I've not been able to do them, so I'm really sorry. But I promise you, I'm working as hard as I can to get them all out. But if you live in the UK and you've ordered something to a UK address, it will arrive. Assuming the Royal Mail do their part, it will arrive for Christmas. Anyway, I'm going to disappear before I completely lose my voice. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it, subscribe to Thomas Chat. Catch you in a bit.